Hello my friends! I have noticed for a very long time that each time I finish an important step in my research on sound, the weather is beautiful. Each time I believe that it was the final outcome to realize later that it was only a step or a landing depending on the importance of the culmination of the grand staircase which leads to the paradoxical sound of Extasium. However, the weather is not so often beautiful in Paris. At first I thought, here, a coincidence. And seeing it renew itself every step of the way, I thought it was more than that. A synchronism. Sometimes, after completing a new phase, I went out to shop. The sky was cloudy, no light. I thought then that I must have been wrong before in my interpretation. I didn't think about it anymore. But when I came back up the subway exit stair, I was sunbathing in my face, the only visible ray in the vicinity, which happened to me often. Toward the end of the research, in 2007, once again, I would have finished it all. I would go out, uniformly grey sky, as far as the eyes can see. When I get back, no sunlight, all grey. Gosh, I must have been wrong. It was just coincidence. Many. In the evening, I would listen in depth. It is only in the evening, at about 6 o'clock, listening very focused, in total darkness, that I realized if there are still problems, I would realize that there was still a flow. Every time that happens, I identify the area. A solution appeared to me right after that. The next day, I will make the corrections, and the weather will be nice. This phenomenon has happened several times. I also say to myself that if the weather was good each time, I had only taken one step, but not the last. The weather, if there is really a correlation, should be different for the final phase. Well, it's happened twice. When I developed the sound system principle, including cables, electronics, and speakers, Mr. A and Lady O, and then the Extasium principle, there was a violent storm with a very heavy rain, the wind ripping out of the trees, thunderstorms, thunders, and lightning. The discovery of the principle did not mean the complete end of the research. It was still necessary to bring very long finishes with sun every time. But the most important was the discovery of the principle. I thought I had almost finished my quest for a heavenly sound. Now I know I was still far from it, because it was only on October 27, 1918, that I finally completed the last detail. 6 years later. It will have taken me 37 years to arrive at the end of this research, whose starting point is the discovery of the drawing of the corridor of the infinite based on the painting on October 27, 1981, which led me to the sound research. Nearly 3 years later, in 2021, I am sure that is well and truly finished, having felt no need to make any changes. Great surprise. When I was only looking for a sound that would bring only audiophile pleasures, the sound I obtained, and which advertised your energy, produces unexpected heavenly effects. Already, I had noticed that as I progressed in the reproduction of a sound that seems true, natural, the effect that I felt in Extasium intensified more and arrived more quickly. Following a hearing check, I equipped myself with this prodigious hearing aids, which finally became accessible only for listening to music, not needing them in everyday life. While according to the audio prophecist, people don't perceive any difference at less than 3 decibels. I had the devices adjusted decibel by decibel to fit them to the Extasium, which took 7 months of adjustment at 1 or 2 visits a week. Each time I succeeded in fine-tuning the setting, the effect I felt at each station of connection if the Extasium amplified considerably. This proves that it is indeed the quality of the sound that triggers the phenomenon linked to the rapid contemplation of the painting. Now, every evening, I do a session that gives me an average of 1 hour of sensations beyond all imaginable, which I can only call heavenly or divine. It is also, especially in these moments, that I receive from time to time revelations concerning the great questions that humanity is asking itself, and precision on the structure of the universe. During also years of research, when I entered Extasium, alternatively, I focused on the view, either on the painting or the vision of the room, or on listening to the speakers or the acoustics. I couldn't concentrate on all these elements simultaneously. When I identified a defect, a solution appeared to me very quickly, and each time I had the feeling of an inspiration that was external to me. Since a certain vision that I described in my book, I have the impression that there are 2 of us doing this research. Me here, and someone else in another dimension. Maybe my aunt who stayed in the other world, or who would be my guardian angel. Now, my state of mind is not the same since I am finally in the phase of pure tasting, without having to question myself. It is very restful and it does me a lot of good. In episode 15, Your Energy, I describe how an Extasium session goes, but I forgot to mention that when I get into my spacesuit, I am in my studio, lit only by my little LED pictures. This so special lighting already plunged me into a fairy tale world of marvelous beauty. And when I enter the Extasium, I have a little bit the impression to enter in a very particular spaceship for a great motionless journey. I am in the sky. Behind me there are the 4 columns, with their capital titles to disperse the sound, and I am in an harmonic cage in which there are 7 panels that I have called sound sculptures. These panels, detached from the wall to which they are firmly fixed, have 3 functions. They represent portholes opening onto another world, another dimension, which is the same as the one in the painting. They provide wonderful lighting in preparation for a Dreammaker sound recording sessions. And finally, they behave like huge passive loudspeakers with their extremely stretched canvas and their case treated with many layers of a special varnish that I discovered. They amplify the harmonics considerably, giving the feeling of being surrounded by them and that the walls of the room have disappeared. I wish I could share these amazing feelings, but unfortunately, for the moment, I am the only one to benefit from them. But you can get a glimpse of it by watching the video I call Kaleidoscope, or by listening to the music of Dreammaker recorded with the sound quality of the Extasium. discover these kaleidoscopes with the trilogy that can be found on my website, Extasium.fr.